Let's talk some high school football. I'm Fox 23 Sports Director Nathan Thompson, along with the Tulsa World's Barry Lewis. It's fall break this week, so that means almost all the games are on Thursday night this week, so adjust your schedule accordingly. Right now, we're going to go over the top 5 games of this fall break week of the column that Barry writes in the Tulsa World, the Tuesday edition. You can also get it on okprepsextra.com. And your number one game is the Fox 23 game of the week. We had a divergent last week, but we're back on track here as the same game. And this one is a great one. 2 undefeated teams. McAllister taking on Coweta and Coweta.
Well, it was a close call for the number one game because we've got several really good games this week. But there's nothing like seeing 2 undefeated teams go at it. And McAllister and Coweta, 2 of the last 3 years, they've played games that have been decided at the very end. And this has a chance to be another thriller in this series. The winner is likely going to win the district title. Some great individuals in the game. Coweta quarterback Gage Ham, McAllister running back Eric McCarty. They both played really well when the teams met last year, and this looks like a blockbuster matchup.
Should be a good one. Looking forward to that. And then your second game, your number 2 game, this is one that every year seems to be in the discussion as a game of the week candidate because you have Jenks at Edmond Santa Fe. Big district showdown. They're tied at the top of the standings. Trojans number 1 in the state in Class 6A1.
Yes, yesterday when I was putting this together, I was on the computer. I was switching back and forth. Now, Jenks Edmond Santa Fe's 1, McAllister Coweta's 2, back and forth, and eventually I wound up with McAllister Coweta 1, Jenks Edmond Santa Fe 2, because again, there's something like 2 undefeated teams going at it. But Jenks Edmond Santa Fe, Jenks routed Santa Fe last year in the state championship game, so you know Santa Fe will want to get the Trojans back over that. 2 years ago, of course, Jenks fans remember Santa Fe came over to Jenks and won 33-30, and which was one of the best, our most exciting regular season games that I've seen in the last few years. Town Shetron had a monster game that game. Not so much last year in the state championship as Jenks contained him pretty well. So that'll be a key whether Jenks can pressure the Santa Fe quarterback like it did last year. I thought that was a big factor, and that would in turn probably help them defend against Town Shetron, an OSU commit, and probably the best receiver in the state. So should be a great night of football in Edmond.
I'm really intrigued by game number 3 here. Sand Springs at Bixby. Sandites, a great performance, but come up just short against Booker T last week. But Bixby, man, 70-7 over Choctaw, a team that was undefeated, made the state title game last year, ranked number 2. I can't think of a regular season game I've been more impressed with than that Bixby just destruction of Choctaw last week.
Yes, I mean, I thought Bixby would win something like 42-20 or something, but not 70-7. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, Braylon Presley scores an 80-yard touchdown to start the game, call it back on a penalty. Next play, he goes about 70 or 80 yards again for a touchdown. Yeah. I mean, Bixby right now looks unstoppable. So for Sand Springs, I think they don't necessarily have to win on Thursday night, but if they could just be competitive and give Bixby a good game. I know Sand Springs does not talk about moral victories, but I think it'd be another huge confidence boost for Sand Springs if it could just give Bixby a good game.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Again, all these games Thursday night that we're going over here. Holland Hall at Berry Hill, number 4. The Dutch continue to dominate. They won the state title last year. This will be a big test for Berry Hill, who you have ranked 5th.
Yes, Berry Hill gave Holland Hall its toughest test last year, and this could be its toughest test of this season, at least until deep in the playoffs. Berry Hill is a lot better team than it was last year, and Holland Hall, amazingly, looks just as dominant this year so far as it did last year. I think Holland Hall is just got too much firepower for Berry Hill, but who knows? Berry Hill really, that 20-10 win over Verdigris a couple weeks ago was very impressive.
And wrapping up your top 5, we have Union at Moore. Union in great shape in the district standings, undefeated at the top, already beat Owasso in district play. So this is another test for Union going up against the Moore team that's 2-1 in district play.
Union's offense is looking better and better every week, and Moore is coming off its first loss of the season in the Norman North. Moore was built up by people on the west side to be up there, that they should be regarded among the top 4 teams in 6A1. Probably not. I think we've seen through the years a lot of West teams built up by people in the West. that have been pretenders instead of contenders.
And one note here, I talked about most games being Thursday night. This game actually is Friday night at Atmoore, so one of the few games that is a Friday night kickoff this week because of fall break. So that's the top 5. Again, you can get this story in the Tuesday edition of the Tulsa World or okprepsextra.com. Also pick up this week a Thursday edition of the Tulsa World for all the preview of that night's action. Friday, they'll have all the game recaps and scores and great pictures from the photography team. Bill Hastings morning after column still going to be in the Sunday paper.
The Sunday paper. And we've got a lot also this week, a lot of coverage of the state's softball and volleyball championships in our weekend papers.
So pick up the Tulsa World, the physical copy, or you can also go to okprepsextra.com. Fox 23, our game of the week, as we said, McAllister at Coweta. So Thursday night, that's a Thursday night game. We'll be live from Coweta at 6:20 to preview that action. And then it gets a little complicated because Fox 23 has NFL football that it broadcasts on Thursday night. So we will still have extended high school football highlights after the game ends, the NFL game ends. We will not do our 30-minute show this week because it would just be on so late and we don't know what time it would be on. So we will postpone this week's edition of high school football tonight. We'll pick it back up next week. But we will have lots of high school football coverage and extended highlights just in our normal show after the NFL game on Thursday night. Of course, you can always go to fox23.com, click on the high school football page to see all of our highlights from this week and weeks past. So looking forward to a fun night of Thursday night football.